Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Concern Podcast, where we unpack political, social, economic, and cultural stories shaping our world. I am Emmanuel Taban. Now, a very interesting story coming up. An aid worker who works for the World Food Program has been shot dead in Nasir County of Upper Nile State. Now, it is believed that the guy who was shot, who works for the World Food Program, is a Kenyan national who had gone to nursery to distribute or to coordinate the distribution of relief food items to some of the affected individuals who are displaced and affected by the current instability happening in the northern parts of the country. And the guy who shot him is still at large. He has not been captured, according to reports coming out from the local authorities there in Nasir County. Now, before we continue with this video, if this is your first time watching a video on this channel, please subscribe, hit on the notification button, like, comment, and share this video with your circle, with people you believe they would like. And for those who've been supporting us, thank you so much. We are so much grateful, and continue supporting us on this platform. You know, when you subscribe and when you make this channel grow, it makes us motivated to create more videos and bring for you more stories back to back. Thank you so much for those who've been supporting us. Now, back to our video. As I say, the guy who was shot is a Kenyan national by the names of Howard, and he had gone to nursery to coordinate the distribution of food items by air to some of the affected areas. But unfortunately, he got shot by one of the locals in Nasir, in one of the villages in Nasir County. Now, the suspect is not captured, but his wife and the brother are right now in jail. They're suffering, or they're being detained for a crime being committed by the husband and the brother. I don't know what they call that in legal terms, but I feel there's a word for it. I don't know if that is called an extended crime or what, I don't know. But the wife of the suspect and the brother are detained right now. And they are still, the authorities, the police are still looking for the suspect right now. And it was believed that the guy who shot the aid worker was actually, he did that out of influence of alcohol, he was drunk or something like that. But one of the most important things we need to learn from this is that I feel every day South Sudan is making it very hard for itself, because we've recently heard of reports coming about the closure of World Food Program operation unit, which is in Belit County. And some of the reasons why they have actually closed this is because the area has become so insecure for the aid workers. And therefore, the World Food Program decided to close down that unit. And a closure of a unit like that means a lot. So that means that the local population is going to suffer a lot. Because when we look at the population of South Sudan, according to the United Nations Human Rights Commission report that was released, and that over 76 out of the 79 counties in South Sudan are in severe food crisis. So they are insecure in terms of food. So majority of South Sudanese, above 70% of South Sudanese are in their need of food or assistance, or food relief or food assistance, which is, I believe, so bad. Because when a population of a country, a huge section of the population of a country, reach an extent where it relies on food assistance, that tells us a lot about what the government of that country is doing. Because the primary purpose of a government is to make sure that the people are secure in all terms, in terms of security, in terms of food and other stuff. But if a government is unable to provide food to its citizens and unable to provide some of the basic needs, then what is the purpose of having such a government in place? So this is some of the questions, and I feel also that this action is going to continue taking away some of these humanitarian organizations working in South Sudan, especially in the northern parts of the country. I think majority of us will agree that one of the intense insecurities happening in the country is mainly happening in the northern parts of the country, especially in Jonglei, Upper Nile, and Unity states. So these are some of the states that are affected seriously, and therefore when always we do have insecurities happening in places like this, there is always need for humanitarian organizations to come in and help people who are displaced or injured with so many stuff. relief items like food, like shelter, clothing, and medication. So these are some of the services that are provided by these humanitarian organizations. But if we reach an extent where even the aid workers who are trying to help the people are being targeted, so I feel that this is where we're getting it wrong. And before we realize, we will see that most of these humanitarian aid workers will actually just go away from here because they wouldn't be risking their lives. People are trying to give services to your people for free. People are trying to help, but still they're being killed, right? So, and the United Nations has always warned so many aid workers about South Sudan being a very unsafe place for them. And I think if majority of them look at this warning, they're just going to shy away. They're not going to come to South Sudan. And I feel this is where it's going to be very hard, because we'll be left with a country where the government is unable to provide relief food items, but also we don't have humanitarian organizations either who are providing these services. So we will see lives of citizens in a miserable condition, and majority of them, because we know how things to do with this conflict affects women and children. At the end of the day, we will see malnourished populations and pregnant women going through a lot. So we don't want that to happen. At least if the government is unable to provide food items, if the government is unable to provide services to its people, they should provide the basic security. We don't even need that much security. We just need that these humanitarian organizations and workers are given access to these places that are affected, so they can actually provide the services that the government is unable to provide. That is all what the people need. So if we continue to make life hard for these humanitarian aid workers, but also that the government is unable to provide these relief items, so what are we trying to do exactly? So I feel this is a high time that the government of South Sudan needed to actually take a very bold decision of making sure that these aid workers are given the chance to actually provide these services. It doesn't matter if they're providing it in areas that you feel they are mainly or populated by the opposition. No, because at the end of the day, your target as a government is not the common people or the civilians. The target is the opposition fighters, people who hold firearms, are the ones that you have to deal with. You don't have to do anything with the common Mwananchi or the common citizen. That is what the government has to do. And that if they go and fight in a place that is mainly populated by these opposition groups, they should let the civilians free, and that the civilians should be actually helped by this humanitarian organization. So thank you guys. This is what is coming up today, and write down in the comment section what you feel about this incident where a humanitarian worker who is a Kenyan national was shot dead in one of the villages in Nasir County of Upper Nile State. Until next time, guys, I'm Emmanuel Taban, and this is the Concern Podcast. Thank you. Before we close today's episode, here's a quick message from our sponsor, Wanit.co. If you've been planning to build a website, but the cost has been holding you back, Wanit.co makes it affordable and stress-free this time around. Whether you are an individual, a non-profit organization, or a business, Wanit.co designs professional websites starting from as cheap as $250. Individuals can actually launch with a starter website of up to 7 pages and a free email, or choose an advanced option with unlimited pages, a professional portfolio, and branding support. For non-profit organizations, they can select flexible packages from basic websites to premium solutions with e-commerce features and ongoing support. And for business companies, Wanit.co delivers company-ready website with hosting, staff training, and multi-link options and online stores. And the best part of it is actually that you can build your dream website within your budget. Wanit.co is an affordable, accessible, and professional partner. And to get started, you can actually visit Wanit.co or email them at info@wanit.co, or you can get in touch with them through their WhatsApp number at +1 226 504 3322. Wanit.co, proudly affiliated with Jobs to Apply. And if you're wondering of what I'm talking about, here are some samples of website created by Wanit.co. You can see them right here.